You call it. So you didn't think he ever had no doubt? I told you.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm trying to stay respectful and kind.
I am a single mother. I just got finished with high school. I just need that type of help.
Alexander versus Jackson. Following the unexpected tragedy of Nick Alexander's passing, Roberta and Felice Alexander, Nick's mother and sister, rely on Paternity Court to help them complete what he began in his lifetime. From the beginning, it was clear that Mr. Alexander and Miss Jackson's relationship wasn't anything serious. However, Miss Jackson is adamant that Nick has to be the father.
So he was excited to hold the baby for the first time.
I do have a picture of him holding my baby for the first time.
When William was born, Nick eagerly assumed the mantle of father, yet he remained hesitant to confirm his paternity until his sudden passing.
Your son had reached out to Paternity Court.
He certainly did.
Because he had an issue he wanted to resolve here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Roberta maintained that she would not meet the child until the DNA test verified Mr. Alexander as the father, a precaution taken due to past experiences.
He didn't take no precautions, no protocol as far as when William was first born, they should have been, got a paternity test for William.
I did try to get a paternity test the day William was born, but the hospital told me we had to go to another place. And I tried taking him to that place, but he wasn't willing to do that with me. Because I had to open up a case with child support against him for me to take that DNA test.
He also claims that Miss Jackson was candid about the possibility of there being multiple contenders for fatherhood.
Nicholas also said at the delivery, it was more than him at the delivery, waiting
That's
to...
not true,
No,
Your
that was
Honor.
not.
He told me it was two other guys
That's not true.
there. And when the baby was born, they looked at it and looked at
That's
the
not
child,
true.
and they said it didn't look like them, and they dapped each other, and they left. They
That
said,
is
man,
not
you
true.
stand?
Your Honor, Nick was the only person
not true.
that stayed. He was the stand-up guy. He wanted
That's not true.
responsibility.
Miss Jackson strongly denies the allegations and feels that the only two people who could possibly be the father are Mr. Alexander and her ex.
So when you got pregnant, you did not know who the father of your child was.
Yes, Your Honor. But at the hospital, it was only one other person that I knew who came with us was my boyfriend, but I met him when I was already 5 months pregnant.
Okay.
He was not in delivery.
So at the hospital, it was your boyfriend there and then also Nicholas.
And people that came with him.
The Alexanders think that William and Nick could not possibly be related, believing that there's no family resemblance whatsoever.
The baby does not look anything like any of us.
does.
Don't look like my brother.
He do.
He probably look, Alexander, you seem like you're emotional. What is it that you're thinking?
Do you see something that suggests otherwise? The wild accusations surrounding Miss Jackson have been uneasing, presuming that her only motivation for being there is money, considering her single mother status and her fresh high school diploma.
And only reason I asked for the death certificate because I am a single mother. I stay with my daddy right now until I can get on my feet. But I am a single mother. I just got finished with high school.
The Alexanders remain with unanswered questions while Miss Jackson desperately seeks much-needed assistance. Ultimately, this is a devastating scenario for all involved. Judge Lake holds the answer to the ultimate question. Is the late Nick Alexander the father of William? The moment of truth has finally arrived.
In the case of Alexander versus Jackson, when it comes to 1-year-old William, it has been determined that Mr. Nicholas Alexander is not the father.
Although Nick Alexander wasn't the father of William, he is still cherished and loved. Carson Shelmanson versus Bay v. Marcellus. Two Michigan sisters hit hard by the loss of their beloved brother have come before Judge Lake in the hopes of proving that their brother was not the father of his ex-girlfriend's child.
Ms. Carson and Ms. Shelmanson Bay, you are here on behalf of your deceased brother, Michael Carson, to prove he is not the biological father of the defendant's 2-year-old daughter, Mariah.
Miss Marcellus, the mother of Mariah, cherishes the memory of the late Mr. Carson and simply wishes for his family to welcome Mariah with open arms and embrace her as one of their own.
Ms. Marcellus, you say the deceased Michael Carson was the love of your life, and his family's denial of your daughter, Mariah, is breaking your heart. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Maya Shelmanson Bay and Michelle Carson, the two sisters of their late brother, are completely unconvinced that Mariah is their niece, believing it's nothing more than a ploy by Miss Marcellus to gain Mr. Carson's death benefits.
In 2016, my brother was murdered. Prior to that, he never claimed Mariah as being his child, and we feel that she's saying that so she can get his death benefit.
Judge Lake moves forward to investigate Miss Marcellus's 5-year-long journey with Mr. Carson. Miss Marcellus recognized it as an on-again, off-again type of relationship, but states she was always committed.
He approached me when I was walking out of the store, so it just ended up escalating then. So we've been off and on for 5 years.
The two sisters expressed their uncertainty, citing Mr. Carson as the source of their beliefs, who they claim had blatantly denied being the father during her pregnancy. Miss Marcellus proceeds to outline the circumstances surrounding Mariah's conception and why it had to be Mr. Carson's doing.
And I asked, by who? You said your brother. Got off the phone with you, called my brother. I said, Mikey, Ashley says she pregnant by you. He bust out laughing. He was really goofy. I said, this is a serious matter. Is this your baby? He said, no, that's not my baby.
As Miss Marcellus started to discuss how she and Mr. Carson were making plans to wed during the pregnancy, a jaw-dropping surprise unfolded in the courtroom that left everyone in utter disbelief. In a shocking twist of fate, it was revealed that Mr. Carson had tied the knot with someone else while Miss Marcellus was expecting.
And then I was pregnant with Mariah. Me and Michael was planning to get married.
But he was already married.
No, he was not at the time. He got married. First of all, Michael got married March 11th of 2016.
Because you was there. Because you was there.
No, I was not there.
It was a heartbreaking revelation that she only discovered through Facebook.
How did you find out he was married?
Facebook.
As the never-ending squabbling between the plaintiffs and defendant began to take its toll on her patience, Judge Lake's composure started to unravel.
I'm trying to stay respectful and kind.
With tensions cooled in the courtroom, Judge Lake beckoned Geraldine, Mr. Carson's mother, to the stand to gauge her sentiments concerning the dispute.
Miss Carson, you are Miss Carson and Miss Shelmanson's mother and also the deceased Michael Carson's mother. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
In the courtroom, a flood of emotions was unleashed as each person voiced their heartfelt desires for the child's future.
And I love my brother. And I'm gonna make sure that his people was okay. I made sure he was okay when he was alive. And I'm for damn sure gonna make sure his kid's okay while he gone, period.
The atmospheres in the room became heated once more as the sisters laid judgment on Miss Marcellus for currently being pregnant with another man's child 2 years later.
So, Miss Carson, how did you find out about the neighbor?
He was spending the night watching our kids. He had his own
He
little.
never watched my kids.
Girl, he was watching your kids. Then he was playing the game.
He
He had his own emoji on
kids.
my brother
So
video
clear
game
that.
at your house. Brother was the love of your life, and you pregnant right now with another man's
And
baby.
so what? It's 2 years later. I can't live on with my life. I can't
Girl,
go
but you
on.
crying,
I can't
though. It
go
hurts
on.
so
I
much,
can't-
though.
I don't give
Right.
a damn who I'm with.
Is it really such a crime for her to be able to put the past behind and move forward with another man? Miss Marcellus presented the proof that Mr. Carson was wholeheartedly embracing his role as Mariah's father.
What is this piece of evidence?
This
A
is
text exchange between you
Yep,
and Mr. Carson.
that is correct.
It was August 15th, 2016. You said, I just really need a job, for real?
Yep.
And Mr. Carson responded, we got a newborn, chill. It get greater later. And you responded, I wish sooner.
Geraldine believes that if her son loved Mariah, he would have gone above and beyond to take care of her no matter the circumstances.
He's real loving. You know, both of my sons are, because that's the way their dad is.
When you look at Mariah, you don't feel like she is your son's baby?
I don't feel like she is, but I love her. And I want to know definitely whether she is or whether she's not. So I'll have a peace of mind and I have closure concerning my son and his children.
Yes.
With the answers in hand, Judge Lake is ready to put an end to this feud. Is the late Mr. Carson the father of Mariah Carson?
In the case of Carson, Shelmanson Bay versus Marcellus, when it comes to 2-year-old Mariah Carson, is 99.99%. You are related.
Confirmation of Mr. Carson as Mariah's father marks a turning point for both families, allowing them to move on from the hurtful events of the past.